do?
Do you?
Go. No.
Okay. All right. Hey, this is Meleika of Evanston Live TV, and we are bringing you a new segment called Conversations from the Block. Is that that's what we're... All right. Okay, so 2 years ago, I wanted to bring the Black youth of Evanston together because I really wanted to know what are they feeling, what's on their minds, what can we do? But you know, when I started Evanston Live TV, you know, people didn't really know what it was. They didn't know me. So it was a little trust factor there. You know, the parents were like, no, I don't want my kids talking about anything that's going on in Evanston right now. But now that, you know, Evanston Live TV has been around for a little bit and there's a little more trust, now I got some cooperation. So I reached out to Lonnie Wilson and, you know, he worked with me on this and he brought along Stacey Moragne, and we got Bobby Burns here, we got Joshua Hall here, and we got some phenomenal young people that I'm about to introduce you all to, and they're going to share with us what they really think, what they see for the future, what they feel, what they experience. And I think it's time we listen, because we as adults can talk for hours amongst each other about what we think needs to happen and what's happening with the youth in the Black Latino community, but we rarely really listen to what they are feeling. So I want to give them that voice. So I'm going to turn the camera around right now to Stacey. Thank you so much for being here today, Stacey, and thank you for bringing these amazing young people here.
Hello.
Hello. Stacey's going to be asking some questions, and everybody knows activist Lonnie Wilson.
Loudmouth himself.
And then we got Bobby Burns. Many of you are familiar with Bobby. He worked on the Haggerty campaign, and he's out there getting people to the voting polls and sharing a lot of information with us. And then we have Joshua Hall. He works with the NAACP and just a phenomenal man that I actually just met today. And now we're going to introduce you all to these beautiful young people that got voices, they got something to say, and we're about to hear from them all right now. So when you all got something to say, just kind of do this to me so I can get the camera on you. Okay. All right. So first question. There's so much going on in America right now, especially with the Latino culture, with children being snatched and we don't know where they are. They're being sold. What's really going on, right? So we're seeing some genocide happening. But for the Black community, that's been going on for a very long time, and we've seen our people get snatched and families broken up for that's our history, darn near, here in America, since we got here to America, right? So my thing is, what are you all's thoughts on genocide in the Black community? When a young Black man picks up a gun and kills another young Black man, I mean, it's a setup. And they're just caught up in it. That's what, you know, we see. What are you all's thoughts on that? Who would like to go first?
Get them, Reg.
Reg, you want to go first?
Nah, go ahead, you got it.
I think that when a Black person kills another Black person, I think it's out of hatred. I gotta talk louder?
Yes.
I think it's out of hatred and you know, people just jealous of what another person has that they can't get, or that they see another person with a lot of money or something, and they want it, so they're going to take it by any means necessary.
I'll have to disagree with that. I don't think it's really hatred. I think, you know, a lot of it has to do with pain that they're feeling, you know, because there's a starting point to it. You know, one of their family members might have got killed and they want to get even, so they go back and do the same thing. That's how a lot of this is now. It's not really about jealousy or money or envy or none of that. It's more about getting even.
I kind of feel like pain and hatred are balanced out in a way.
Okay.
You feel me? So like he said, pain. People feel a lot of pain from losing somebody that was close to them, and if they know the person that did it, they pretty much gonna go after them.
What do you think we need to do because it's killing the community? We're genocide. What can we do? We're killing ourselves.
So
What can we do?
I don't know if there's necessarily a clear answer for that right now, but I think it's something that we can do to start improving on it. I just don't know that answer right now.
To me, I got a good question. Because to me, like, why it's happening is like the first step to figuring out how to solve it. Because a lot of times, the way I hear violence discussed, it's kind of all lumped into just either youth violence or what I hate even more is black on black violence, which isn't a thing. But I think I would want to know from your perspective, like, how much do you think is robberies, which is kind of what you were describing as people being jealous. And again, we're not naming names or doing nothing like that, but how much do you think is accredited towards like just robberies, people trying to acquire more things, more material, more money, more whatever? How much do you think is related to trauma? I lost a family member to this. I lost a friend to this, and now I'm responding accordingly.
I think it could be also they got a family they got to provide for, and they're not able to get it. Maybe they've already been in the system. They're a felon or something, and for a felon it's very difficult, especially a black felon, to get a job. So they got to do what they got to do by any means necessary.
So in other words, they get forced into a different economy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But if you got 100%, how much would you, and I'm going to ask y'all this a lot, how much would you credit if you got 100%? Is it 60% you think is robberies, 40% I'm responding to trauma, something that happened to me? Do you think it's 60 the other way?
I think it's 60%.
Or 50,
Respond. I think
or 80, 20 could be anything.
I think, it's 50-50 probably with the retaliation and robberies.
So do you think these conditions can be stemming from the conditions of their upbringing at home?
Well, I mean, put people in positions to where they feel like they don't have to do that kind of stuff. Give them enough money in that job, in that workforce, for them not to have to go rob somebody else. Do something to
take that 150% out of it.
Yeah, like we're not helping nobody by just allowing them, not giving them a second chance. Why are we not giving them a second chance? Yeah, they made a mistake in the past. That's their past life. We never know if they learn from it if we don't give them a chance to grow from it. So you got to give somebody a second chance.
Oh, you got some?
I got a question for the young women. I was trying to get them involved. Go ahead.
So do you think that the conditions dictate that we continue to go to jail? So we do have that hatred and the jealousy and the fear and all that, the conditions that go with helping or hurting each other?
Yeah, I think conditioning definitely has a lot to do with it, I mean, I know I heard about living in jail. That's not somewhere you want to be, Even looking at the camps for the Latinos, what they got going on, that's almost jail. And everywhere somebody's getting paid for something, so they're getting paid for putting people in jail in those camps. So all of that is stemmed from money. So if y'all getting all this money, why not give it back to the people that you putting in jail? Why not put it back in their hands or something?
I also think that a lot of it ties into people having role models, like father figures, who a lot of people have fathers who just walk out of their lives, so they have no choice but to turn to a gang that's probably going to be there for them.
Or their father could have been in prison.
Which means he left. I mean,
not necessarily he left,
The system
not by
choice. Not by choice.
I mean, he made a decision in his life that caused him to be in that position.
But you got to understand that you're being hunted. Even as young as you are, you're a black man, and you're being hunted. You don't know you're being hunted, but if you go outside, right in this same area, and you stand by one of these garages in the back of it, the police will be there in minutes.
And that's what I mean when I say conditions.
Right.
We put in these situations, and our forefathers, your father, my father, we put in these positions, and sometimes we don't make the right decisions, and it could tear what she talking about, the genocide, right? To be genocide is just tearing the structure down. So my father was in the penitentiary, and he didn't teach me nothing but to go to the penitentiary. And this is how this stems in all areas of life, where I'm a product of my environment. You know, if I look at negative things, I'm probably going to end up negative.
Yeah.
Do you think it's an issue with value of life? You think that's the core? They feel like their life hasn't been valued since they were, kids or born, so now they don't value anybody else's life.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
I hope we can. I want to stay on this line, but we need to make things a little wider in thought, because if you talk about something generational, he just said something really critical, that his own father had been in jail, and what he had to give him was a lesson on how to go to jail. So if you think of this as going on for 5 or 6 generations, what I'm passing down to my children, they're passing even less to their children. So you understand, slowly but surely you literally break the mold of the African American family. So by the time when you guys kids are born, how much of this community that we know, that me and Stacey got raised by, will even be around for you to see? Very little.
Yeah, let's hear from the ladies.
I feel like it's just a cycle. The black man knows that it's twice as hard to make it than the white man. So you're trying to make it, and it's like, are you gonna try hard and work as hard, or are you gonna make the easy money, deal drugs, rob people? It's easier, so that's what they're gonna go to. So I mean, if you want to work hard and put the work in, then yeah, you could make it maybe. So the mentality is, I want the easy money,
right.
So I'm going to do what I have to do.
Let me go in one time. I don't think it's easy money. I think it's fast money.
Fast.
It's not easy to be out there all day, every day.
No, it ain't.
With the cops, you gotta worry paranoid about the police.
And
finding what you got on you. Right. I don't think it's easy money. I think it's fast money. It's faster to do that instead of being in a box in a cubicle from 9 to 5. I mean, that's probably, it's more entertaining. Maybe that's what we should say. Instead of easy money, I think it would be more fast money.
And I think the ideology, they told me illiteracy is my number one enemy. And I think the ideology that we put forth is like when King and Jesse Jackson and Malcolm X, their courage was on the line for our race. Our courage is on the line for our personal satisfaction. We selfish and self-centered. We don't want to see the next man. We can't come together as a collective, right? And that's what this takes. We got to come together.
There's a reason that doesn't exist.
But this is a good, going off of that, like, out of everybody here, do you identify with being black or African American or any of those?
Yeah.
Which one do you identify with?
Black.
And if y'all can just go in on that, like, on just why do you identify as black? What does that mean to you?
Y'all gotta give me a break.
We can go back to that, but I want y'all to think on that. That's on a serious note, because like, what does that even mean? Is that just where you live? It's the people around you, and so therefore you kind of, that's all I know. That's the people that I
music you listen to, the way you dress.
That's what people see. Like, as soon as they see us, they see black skin color.
Right.
I mean, we can say we're African American, but some of us aren't. Not all African American. There's like Jamaican Americans and Latin American. Like, it's different. It's different races to being black. So when people see us, they see our race, which is black, and black is that's a race. And race is something that's constructed. It's not
even real.
Yeah, it's not real. Right.
So I'm curious
that's a good
who you are, what is your self-worth? So by raise of hand, who identifies themselves as black or African American? All right, that's pretty much everything. So, everyone. So what are the things that make you you? You say you're African American, you say you're black. What are some things that make you who you are? And we'll just start from left to right with the ladies.
I think he was about to point right to one.
I think it's not like your race or your color. It's just like who you are, personally, like your personality, what you like. So like I call myself black, but that doesn't have anything to do with the person that I am. Because if you're put into like one category as black, you just all act the same. You do the same things. It's just not like that. It's just like a color or a race that you call yourself, but it has nothing to do with the person that you are.
It's a human construct that is not even real.
So when you think of people being called black, you think there's like a lot of negative association with it.
Yes, that's what other people think.
And that's deep in itself.
But that's what we've been taught.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's a construct.
We've been taught that white is pure
good.
And black is dirt.
And I have another belief about the violence, even the violence between black men sometimes. I think they're trying to kill what they see as being the least important, what is most worthless, which is themselves. Because over generations we've been taught that. And that's just my own belief, that you're really literally, these black boys are shooting at the thing they see no value in. And that's what frightens me.
Because being black, just to slide in, but I know you're going to say something, it's the way culture is the way you wear your hair, the way you go to
walk,
church,
right.
the way you walk, the music you listen to.
The food you eat. Yeah.
What you
communicate with each other.
Yeah,
And so what I would love is if we could have a pride in that first before thinking about how other people associate black. You know what I mean? And we do, I probably did that when I was growing up too, and as we age, we try to kind of mature into this pride that comes from how we feel about us instead of about how they view us. Because that's what I would have hoped for y'all to say, is because there's some similar hairstyles in this room right now. There's some similar mannerisms. There's some similar speech patterns. There's a culture of being black that I think, even if you don't identify with it, you are that. You know what I mean?
And from here, y'all sure look good doing it. So keep it up.
So we're just going down.
Me?
I was gonna say what you said, like how we wear our hair, like it's different from how a white person would wear their hair, how we dress, how we talk, the music we listen to, and like
Our culture.
Yeah.
Like we kind of grew up differently than white people because like black people like kind of struggle more. Like you kind of got to fend for yourself a little more. Like say if you want like a new car, you gotta like put your checks together and buy it. Then like white people when it's given to them, like we kind of gotta learn how to grow up a little more faster than they do.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
If
I
you
think it's
go ahead.
I feel like being black and like culture, I feel like those are two different things. Because your skin color is your skin color. That's what you're born with. But you could be in a lot of different environments. I know I'm very close with this dark black male. He was raised by two white men, and you could see by the way that he acts and the way he dresses, it's different than most other stereotypical black men. It's just all about where you're from, like what your environment is. You don't need to be black to have stereotypical black cultural
identification. I hear you.
If you all had the opportunity to sit down with the Trump administration today
Oh my God.
at a big round table, what would you say? What would you say? What would be your conversation to the Trump administration at this big round table?
Whatever you want to say.
Like, I would just ask why. Like, everything that he's done and what they've done to, like, America is like, why? What's your point?
You know what? Say it to Trump as if he's watching it. As if
I
he's
say
watching
what I wanna
Evanston Live TV. Talk to the Trump administration.
Well, I mean, like, what's your point?
She's saying, like, look at the camera.
Oh, I gotta look at the camera. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
talk-
like, what's your point in all of this? Like, what are you getting from it? Like, you, for example, like, deporting kids and leaving them at camps and stuff. Like, what's your point in doing that? Like, what are you getting from that? You're just separating families and hurting people when there's no value in what you're doing. Or, like, building the wall. Like, what are you trying to do?
Go ahead.
Like they're saying that the Latino Mexican people are coming in and taking their land, but the white man came and took this land. This wasn't their land to begin with. And I feel as though if they're gonna say that the Mexicans can't get in, then I don't think that all these tourists that want to go to Mexico, I believe that Mexico should put up a border too and not allow Americans to get into. If we can't allow them in, then they shouldn't be allowed to have us there.
You know, one of the things I want out of all this is that you guys learn something. Understand the political backlash of why they don't want Mexicans here, because what happens is when Mexicans move to the United States, they normally become liberal and democratic, and so what they're afraid of is that this influx of people will shift the balance in the country so that now the feelings and issues that affect us are now becoming the out front issues. And if blacks and Latinos start to talk to each other and vote together and create collective power structures.
Oh, they don't want that.
They don't want that to happen. So that's what you gotta understand. That's really what it's about. It's not about locking up little Latin people. It's about holding on to power. Because you gotta understand one of the other problems. See, there's another problem that is a really scary problem, but we're gonna have to face it. And it'll be more in your life than it is my life. The majority of the world has pigment in its skin. Do you understand that? The majority of the world. There are more black, brown, yellow people than there are white people. And what is happening is, genetically, we're starting to become too many. And there's a fear going on inside of places like America and Britain and France that we're literally procreating them off the earth. You understand what they're scared? They're not scared of you as a black man. They're scared of what you're carrying in your testicles. That's what they're really afraid of. That you can wipe them out. You don't have to shoot them. You can wipe them off the earth. And if you guys don't, y'all are gonna have to face that. I don't have to face that because I'll probably be dead and gone. But the idea that the race that has run this world is about to become the minority in the world, they're scared. And remember something, they also have more guns per capita than anybody else on earth. So now you got a bunch of paranoid people who are armed to the teeth. That's a scary thought.
I want to hear more about what you all would say to the Trump administration. Each one of you. Talk to him.
I guess like pretty much said it. Yeah, like why is he doing that? It's like no point. So like,
Do y'all even think about Trump?
No.
No.
Because I don't personally. I know Trump is the thing now, but I don't really think about it.
I don't think about it.
He doesn't have anything of value to offer me at all.
Yeah, at all.
He's a bit of a fool to me.
Yeah.
Bit of?
He has like no point of doing what he's doing. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
But he also has 80 million people listening to him. That's
Yes,
scary.
that's the scary part.
So
And he can do another executive order, and all of a sudden we can't vote anymore.
What's so scary is that they're willing to sacrifice the world to follow him, so they can be all right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm talking about, selfish and self-centered. When I don't care about what happened to nobody else, as long as I'm all right. And then the next question I wanted to ask is, why is it so hard for the youth to accept the direction from their predecessors, which are us, the older people? When we tell you something, why won't you listen? Because we've experienced the situation. We tell them, don't do that, but y'all don't listen. And I didn't either.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, why is it so hard for us to follow directions?
Go ahead.
I feel like in life there's just some things that you have to experience for yourself. Like no matter how many times somebody tells you don't do it, you're gonna have to do it to like get through life. And I think sometimes like personally me, sometimes I don't listen to my elders or people who have authority around me, because, especially police officers, because I don't feel like they have the best intentions for me. But that's just my personal thought.
Yeah, that's what I agree with her. It's like it depends on the person that's speaking to you, and it depends on what they're telling you to do. Because if they're telling you to jump off a bridge,
Girl, not that.
like
Well,
I'm just saying, like in general, like with everything, like it's like whatever, like you just have to have trust, and that's the problem. Like you just like people don't.
I think that comes back to a
So
very
you
serious point.
telling me that you don't trust your mother and father?
No, I respect her. She told me to come over.
It depends.
I mean, some people don't.
It depends.
She be next.
She
be ready.
I think it's like around like this age, like our age group, like 16, 17, 18, like we finally at the age where we could kind of like make our own choices and our own decisions.
Want to make your own mistakes.
Yeah, you know, so we done had 15, 16 years of having to listen to our parents and don't do this, don't do that. And now we getting a little older, so we want to live a little bit. So you tell us not to do this, we're gonna still test the water out just because we have that ability to test the water.
But what happens when they tell you don't do anything or don't do something, and what they told you is correct, and you find yourself in a peculiar situation? Who was the first person you called? The same person that told you don't do it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So why don't I listen to that person? Why? I didn't. That's why I'm asking.
It's like
because it's a little bit of fun in that too,
yeah,
though.
like,
It's kind of what I was even talking about firearm stuff. If you're gonna use it competitively versus if you're gonna use it to hurt, but it's the same thing. It's like don't go to that party after hours, sneak out and go to that party. It's like it's some danger in that.
But I like to jump.
But it's some fun in that too.
Because
it's like why can't we experience?
There's a problem that we're not dealing with, and because when I was growing up and he was growing up, there was a community that you knew they were all for you. You knew that they cared about who you were. My generation, I went on a party in about 1974. I got back in about 203, maybe 204. That's when I came back from the party. I went to a party in 1974, and I stayed at the party till like 2003. And the reason I could do that is because
metaphorically speaking.
My parents had worked so hard. I enjoyed the fruits of what they had done. I was a middle-class kid. I ain't never been hungry a day in my life. I was educated in Evanston. I was brought up in Evanston. I always had some money. I never had to worry about nothing. My family was connected here, and here. When I got out of high school, I started partying, and I never stopped until I ended up in this wheelchair 50 years later. And what I'm trying to tell you is he has a great point. Don't wait till the process catches you. Because we talked about this the other day. Life is a set of seasons. I'm in the winter of my life. You're in the spring of your life. And if you don't pay attention, winter is coming.
Is some of that a failure on the village, though?
It is.
Because it's like if young people, we know young people are more prone to like do risky things. We've all done it. And so hold on.
We need to create that.
So is the village supposed to be there to observe, to protect,
and create that?
Not just in the home, but while it's happening.
All around.
You always talk about that line, like it's not only where you get in that in the home, but if you went outside, somebody would say something to you and redirect you.
But that's what I'm talking about. In today's era, the village, you get shot trying to be the village.
Yeah, that's true.
The village will get shot trying to be the village.
Is that concern overinflated though? Do we think? And that was a question I had too.
No.
For the young people, it's like
it's not overinflated.
Do y'all think most of the young men and women around you are really violent people? The majority, or do you think it's exactly? And that's what I mean by overinflated. I think most, from my standpoint, most young men, young women, I don't think they would shoot somebody just for saying, "Hey, look, trying to redirect." They may give them some attitude. But that's far different from getting shot.
But am I willing to jeopardize my life, taking a chance on who and will not?
And I would say
I think it's a generation now that kids will literally get in an adult's face and challenge you and get physical. I've had it happen to me.
Listen, I had the kind of adults around me. I can't imagine that. Went across the street, Mr. Moppers, and somebody said, "Cut it out, Lonnie," and I would have got loud. I'd have been looking just like I am now without the dinner.
And that's why these laws have changed, because if I'm not able to address my situation, which is my child, they can address me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the laws have
changed.
Do
that. Take that guy. I'm not taking all of that. And when we was coming up, that means I'm laying on the floor.
Right.
See, now it's acceptable because I'm scared you're going to pick the phone up and call the police. And this is all part of the systematic
destruction of our culture. Right.
Going back to my question real quick, who are the influencers do y'all think for y'all age group? From a celebrity standpoint, from a local
let me ask this question before we jump off of that subject, because we're talking about the decisions that you all make right now. Like they were asking, just your choices and your decisions. So many of us, 30s, 40s, 50s, we look back on our life and think about
60s.
And 60s. We look back on our lives and we think about, God, if I was back in my teens, my 20s, had I not done this or had I made this decision, things would have been different. So what's going on in you all's life right now that you can just change because you know that it will make a better future for you right now? Because there ain't nothing like that guilt and that reflection, boy, I tell you. As an adult. Resentment, guilt, regret. It's serious. So what are you all thinking right now? Like, I need to change this.
I see you thinking.
I need to change this right now because I don't want to be that 40, 50, 60-year-old with regret. Because I don't think there's a person on this side of the room that ain't felt that,
And that one decision can be devastating.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
choices.
I remember to this day, my mama said, don't hang with them boys right there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hang with them boys right there. And the house was so in disarray, them was the only ones I was comfortable around. And that's who I hung with. And they said they loved me.
Right.
But they didn't love me.
No.
My mama loved me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying when an adult that loves me give me some good orderly direction, right? And that good orderly direction is spelled God, right? When I get that direction and I don't pay attention to it, I usually have some consequences, and they most likely will be negative.
And I also think that the community has a really easy way of getting out of it, because if they blame the failure on youth and young decisions, the onus is not back on them to build the environment that will allow y'all to grow up in it. I had such a safe environment. I'm telling you, when I was your age, I could have went to sleep in Hoagland Park on the bench with money in my pocket and woke up and the money would still be there. Now, can you go to sleep in Hoagland Park today with money in your pocket?
Probably not. I don't know. We don't know. It's
don't
weird.
try it.
Weird. I don't know.
Don't try it.
Because it's like, it's a different society. But like,
you think your money would still be there?
My money was still
probably. Yeah, like, nobody. I'll be walking around.
I can see it.
I got a good
somewhere
question for y'all.
If you're up somewhere like uptown.
Are we supposed to?
Wait, they haven't answered my question yet.
Okay. Answer your.
Yeah.
Speaking. What you said? What could we do? Like a decision?
Yeah. What are you thinking about in terms of your life right now that you feel you could change so that you don't have a regret when you get like our age?
Oh yeah, I feel like we got a lot of people in our society today like trying to like be there and help us like be successful. So instead of being like lazy and stuff, we could like when they tell us do something, like actually put that in our mind and like do that, like because
I like that.
For like us athletes, like people want us to be successful. They tell us work harder, stop being lazy, like go out and do something. So like I feel like we need to work harder, like they tell us to do. So like that way we can be successful, because time fly like this, and you never know where you could be. So like you don't want to take no time off.
Great point.
I like that.
This is not for me, but I know a lot of people, like, they do bad in school or, like, ditch class, don't do their homework and stuff, and then they regret it towards the end of high school. So
they got 2 credits.
Yeah, they probably will.
You got 2 credits.
Not doing good at school and not paying for it at school.
But I think that stems from the condition of home. They don't have nobody saying homework come first.
I feel like some people do be having like their parents saying that. I think they just.
But y'all can say it to each other. If you see him going down, he's starting to fail. You need to get on him just like he was just his sister.
Y'all
need to help each other.
When you help some people out, like they just take it as you trying to like boss them around or like trying to treat them.
Some people feel like
no, like it's actually like out of like genuine. Like I'm being like I want to help.
No, it's like
we gotta get out of it together.
Some people just don't care enough.
So that's very interesting to me. How would you break down that barrier with your own peers? Because I'm sure we want to help each other. And I'm sure, you know, if you were falling out, you want someone to help you. Yeah. So if she's trying to help you, how would you break down that barrier with him? Wait, one person at a time. Go ahead.
At first, you gotta know that the person wants to be helped. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. That's the first thing. If somebody's gonna be ignorant about something, no matter what you say to them, it's not gonna get through. So you gotta make sure that the person that you're helping wants to be helped. If not, then you're just like, it's like talking to a brick wall. It's not gonna get nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, you know, that person, they gotta find something that motivate them, or find something that's gonna make them want to do good in life, not just school, but life, and find whatever that is, and that'll drive them. It don't necessarily gotta be somebody telling them like, yeah, do this. Nobody, I don't think like one person has ever been that's on the wrong path or doing bad in school or something. One person has never told them like, do better or get on this track, get on this right track. Like it's all about themselves. I feel like you got to better yourself in order to get to where you want to go.
That's true.
What motivates you?
Well, my dad is in jail right now, and I a lot of my last name, it ain't really all that, like, but I want to be the first in my family to make my last name mean something.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Me too.
I would like to hear everybody. What motivates you?
Yeah, like same thing what he said. I want to like go somewhere in life and like move my family like to a better environment. So like my sisters, cause I got 2 younger sisters, and I want them to like be able to follow my steps and be successful just like me.
Oh yeah, like my family, like we go through some issues and stuff. Like my father, he's like really sick, and my mom, she's been like, she has like education, like master's degree, and she still hasn't been like finding a job. So like I feel like just going to school, doing my best, just to take the stress off of them, to make them feel like I'm doing something.
That's a great goal.
I'm kind of related to him. Pretty much, my mom probably, you know, same. She works a lot. She do overtime. You know, just for me to be able to walk across the stage, high school, and then on top of that, probably go play college basketball for free. I know it would put a smile on her face. So
yeah, make that woman smile.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
My brother, he was a very fast kid. Like he could have made it to like the Olympics. Like he was very fast, but he wasn't messing with the right people, and he dropped out of school. And he got shot, and now he's in a wheelchair and he'll never be able to walk again. And now I run, and I just want to do what I want to run for him, and I want to do what he can't do. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, just run.
Wait, like Nike, right?
Like basically, I don't want to be like a woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like I coulda did this, I woulda did that, but I didn't. Like I don't want to be on like the corner, be like, yeah, back in my day when my prime, I was this, and now I'm just nobody. I'm just walking around handing out dollars. And I want to be somebody who can actually be something in my life, and not be somebody that's a bum. Like I want to just like throw my mom a couple dollars when she needed like give her money.
Yeah.
Just be somebody that matters and be somebody important for my kids and my family.
I have a lot of older siblings. I have 5 older siblings, and they're all successful pretty much. So I wouldn't be like them, and they give me advice a lot. So I take it most of the time.
I would do it for my mom and my little brother because my mom is also a single mom, and she does a lot for us, and I just want to make her happy.
I got one more question.
Stacey motivate me too.
I got one more question. I motivate you.
Yeah,
that's a good
keep
thing.
it like that.
That's a good thing. So with all these issues, one issue we haven't talked about, and it's under the sex education line, right?
Okay.
Because not only the crime and the negative influences, but the opposite sex can take me out my dream real quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
so I need to find out how do I use my common sense approach and still enjoy life without making vital mistakes in the sexual area.
I think like any opposite sex, you should like let them know in the door, like, yeah, we can like talk and we can like be cordial and like go on dates and stuff, but that should come second to everything else. Like that should come second to hooping, it comes second to your books and stuff like that, because like if you get mixed up in that, it can bring you down and like bring you away from the people that matter, like your friends, your family, your loved ones, like the people that actually matter. Because
there's a lot of power in some brown eyes. Though.
Yeah, because most likely that's just
don't fool yourself.
But you know, some people they like to use you for your dreams.
Exactly.
And it's like sad because like I just see a lot of people who like use other people for their dreams. Like, yeah, I'm gonna stay with him. Yeah, he making it to the NBA. Yeah, I'm gonna be right there. And then when he drop out, I'm getting my money and I'm leaving. Like, it's people who use you, and that's like the problem. Like, you gotta realize that before you like, what's the word?
Wow.
Make a mistake.
Yeah.
Anybody else on?
So the women, I got one question. This is coming from a cultural standpoint, youth culture. Do the women in the room feel respected by the, not necessarily young men in this room, but just generally young men? Do you think they're respectful? Do you think they, you know, they have that respect for women?
No.
Not really. No.
People support.
No, not at all.
Anybody want to elaborate?
Ladies,
I want to hear from the ladies.
Get out!
Who wants to go?
I can't speak.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't take you.
I never said me either. I'm saying
Which was your
because I want to know.
Okay, the question is, do we feel like the black males respect us or males in general?
Black men.
The black. Okay, I feel like this is what I hear a lot from black men. Oh, black females, they're too loud. They're ghetto. They're this. They're that.
Who you hear that from?
A lot of people.
No names. Let's get it.
Not saying no names. We're not gonna say names, but like majority of the black males.
I don't know about
like you say, we're too loud. We do too much. We're not gonna let them get away with anything.
Okay, I'm not even trying.
But like,
And you're hearing this from your peers, not like I won't say teachers, but not like supervisors.
No,
you hear it from your peers. Right?
Yeah, my peers.
Okay.
And like the thing about that is like my ancestors, people before me, my mom, my grandma, all of them, they didn't really have a voice. Now I have a voice. I'm going to use it how I feel I need to. I'm going to talk because I can, because before they couldn't.
And in defense of your grandmother, she had a lot more voice than you think she had. Because she did it, they did it in a different way. They didn't need to be loud. They ran the household. If you did things nutty, you find your clothes outside or you don't eat that week. You know.
But back to like the relationship.
They shut you down.
Guys don't, in this culture, don't like have, I mean, in this like generation, don't have like the same culture as the guys in the older generations have. Like, nobody open doors, nobody take you out on dates, nobody. Oh.
Door for y'all.
Now we're talking, like, what is talking? Like, everything is just different.
He has something to
say it, Jalen. And they also don't know what loyalty is either.
Yeah.
Can't be mad.
And then,
we're too young for this relationship.
One more thing, they be like, they so hurt, like they can't trust the BITCH because they've been hurt before.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this kind of started with my generation, and it just got worse after my generation because so many of us were raised by single women. So many of the young men that were raised by single women saw a strong woman doing everything. So then it's like they don't think that they need to step up and
be a partner.
Be a partner to her. They think, oh, you got it. You don't need me. Well, what would you do if I wanted you? You do it yourself.
No, I don't think that's it.
So explain.
I think this player's gonna play.
So. Because some men want somebody like your mom. Like some men want somebody like
nobody want to be in a relationship right now.
That's understandable. Like
I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you.
So I think that a lot of it has to do with what I see. You know, what I see. Because when I was coming up, I used to watch the Mac and Superfly and different movies like that, and I tried to emulate them because I couldn't do it by being who I was. I didn't have the know-how. I didn't have that. I needed an idea, and they gave me an idea. And then today we had the social media and the movies that come out, and we got our little people that we cherish, and you know we think they God, right? And those are the people who we try to emulate.
I took my modeling from. I was lucky. My father wasn't in my house, but I had him in my life, and I had my grandfather who replaced my father. So I grew up in a situation where mother, father, grandmother, everybody's in the same house. So I didn't have that disrespect of womanhood in my family. If you did disrespect a woman, trouble came to you.
But I feel like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, as to what he was saying about respect,
I got next.
I feel like in this generation, no, because I feel like guys here, like in the music, like what Stacey was saying, like in our generation, like in the music, they hear girls being called bees and stuff, like girls dressing like, you know, just skanky and stuff, and like they feel like every girl is a bee and every girl is a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how you address a girl. You know what I'm saying? So.
Somebody came up to you trying to talk to you, and off the jump was like, yeah, you a B, or you a, you know what I'm saying?
No, like shorty is not a good word either. Saying shorty, that's not how you address a girl either. Like, it don't have to be. If somebody mentioned yo,
but they're gonna only do they're gonna only do what you allow them.
Or also like maybe like after if they try and talk to you and you tell them no, then they'll call you out your name. Like that's why you be or that's why you go.
Or they'll block you. This is the important thing. My generation is gonna get It's gonna get a slight dark, but this is serious. Do you see a lot of domestic violence issues in relationships for your age group?
Not really.
That's a good thing. Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I have seen a couple.
They fight back, right? Right. You hit one of them girls, they'll hit you back.
That's interesting. Because in general, like I'm 32 years old, it was an issue. But you saying the female women is fighting back? Females
got brothers. They got brothers.
No, for real. No, they my sisters. They got brothers and stuff. Ain't nobody out there.
But it's some things like that can be like mentally abusing. Like you tell them what not to wear and stuff like that.
It's more mental. It's more mental and verbal abuse these days than physical abuse.
Yeah, probably. We got verbal abuse. We gotta start. Like you could be playing, but like you never know what somebody's doing.
We gotta start respecting females more. It's crazy. Man, nowadays.
Say something to the men. Say something to the men right now. What would you say to the men out there right now?
No, I'm just saying, like, black men, we don't respect women at all enough because the stuff that we be doing, it just be crazy.
What you used before you?
Did I say we? Like I said, the stuff that we be doing, it's just crazy. We gotta start being, more trustworthy. Yeah, we gotta start being more loyal too, cause
wow. Well, what if off the band? What if y'all don't establish being in a relationship?
I just think that
if y'all just talking, what that mean?
It's not.
What's the point of that?
If you serious,
talking,
I think
so.
You could talk to.
So I got a question for you guys. So seeing you guys are really interested on this, from left to right, what is one thing you want the black woman to know, and what's one thing you want the black men to know when it comes to relationships and life?
Okay.
All right.
For black women, you have to respect yourselves for a male to respect you. So for women, respect yourself, and then for a man, respect themselves and also your partner.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, for the men, I think they should make their intentions more clearly because they can be misleading. And for the women, like what she said, to respect yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, they're not going to respect you.
Go, Jeff. What you got to say?
Well, I think the man should it's not really the man's fault. Like they react on what the woman do sometimes. Like it's not always like the man doing this and then it's not always the man's fault. Like women do a lot of things that like make the man go off too. But like you shouldn't put your hand on nobody. That should not be like an option. Like that. I'm just saying like you react on somebody else's energy, not like.
For the female.
Yeah,
for the females, stop hitting on the boys because
a man is a man. Like, he's gonna get to a point where he can't take it no more. And to be honest, if a girl keeps hitting on a boy, then I feel like he I'm not to exert of this like a lot of force, but like you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And yeah, also just have respect for yourself, because if you don't respect for yourself and you go around like acting a certain way, then nobody's gonna respect you. Nobody's gonna take you seriously. And for the boys, if you're not a loyal person, you can't be trusted, just don't be in a relationship. There's no reason for it. It's a waste of time.
Yep. And then on the back,
this dude's something else.
That's they be like, but wait till they get beating up for the
So for the girls, I think they need to understand that us men, we got stuff going on in our lives at times where, we act a certain way,
Nope, we just want our back ruled.
And we you know what I'm saying? And sometimes trust is broken between a girl and a man. And
why she can't be a woman?
A man and a woman. And that guy just feel like he just can't trust nobody no more. So he gonna do him and he not gonna care. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I like that.
Well, what I gotta say is, for both men and women, like, you can't compare your current relationship to an old relationship. You can't think everybody's the same. Like, everybody's not the same. So stop comparing what you have right now to previous things. Like, it's not gonna be the same. So, that's all I
just know we got y'all.
Yeah, and on the way he said, like, sometimes the boy just feel like, he need a little time to, like, be him. No,
what happens if she feels like that?
Huh? But if she feel like that, then I don't know. Like, cause like.
Now, why is it only one? Like,
I mean, if a girl, okay, I feel like they should be honest with each other. Like, don't lie. We at the point, like, if you talking to somebody, don't lie about the situation. If you did something you wasn't supposed to do, then admit to it. Because if you lie and then they find out, then they're going to find it out the hard way, and then it's going to be more than it got to be. Yeah. And it's like,
drama.
Yeah, but it's you got a double standard on what women can get away with and what men can get away with.
Both, but goes vice versa. Like, if the boy's doing something, this is
another show segment on love.
Yeah.
Let's finish. All right.
Oh, it's me. Mm-hmm. They really hit everything on the head, but I feel like that the men, I feel like our intentions to be clear. I feel like my intentions is very clear. But
relationship.
I feel like y'all very. I feel like women be very judgmental. Like y'all always judging everybody based off what they pass. Like we. Okay. Yeah. So you're not gonna bring up something that you heard in the past.
No, I mean
I was talking to
some
this,
other girl
this,
might
and this
not
girl.
do that. Not every girl would do that.
I'm just saying. Okay. So not you would do that, because
the
majority of the females is definitely gonna do that.
Would y'all say that priorities are a must? That I need to get my priorities in order.
Yes.
Before a relationship.
Before I even entertain that thought. So if I'm playing basketball, right, and I know this could hinder me putting my all into the basketball, why am I embracing it? I'm talking to the basketball players. I'm asking you a question.
Wait.
I said, that's what I'm saying. You need to pay attention.
Because
I said that if my priorities are in order, right?
Yeah.
And I'm playing basketball, right? And I know me being in some type of interaction, relationship, kicking it, whatever you want to call it, is going to distract me from putting my all into what my dream is. That's what I'm talking about, my dream. My dream wasn't, when I was coming up, my dream wasn't no girl. Mm-hmm. My dream was being an athlete and being successful and taking them different steps into the college and, if possible, the professional level, right?
Hey, that's why I say
you
just need that backwards.
Yeah, but you're minimizing a very strong force. The force that drives young men to go after young women was created by God. That force has been in human beings forever. And I'm not saying that you can't push it to the side, but there's a drive in men for a reason.
And I understand in the time too.
Well, that's
right. And you want some examples?
This is another show.
Adam, Delilah tricked Samson, and we seen Robin Givens trick Mike Tyson. So why would I want to get tricked?
Let me just say this to you. That narrative is the same narrative that has been used to hold women down and keep them as some kind of secretive problem. Like the whole idea that the woman is the serpent and the man is the
They either drive you to do something good, drive you to success, or they drive you to failure.
But so can your friend.
It ain't no in between.
So can your friend.
That's no question. But that's why you surround yourself with somebody that's going to drive you.
So when you're looking for a woman, you should look for a positive woman. Just like you look for a positive friend.
But what he's saying is you got to prioritize because you don't got time to be trying to pick and choose.
And in your relationship, the only thing that's going to happen is somebody going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. That's in every relationship. I don't know, no matter what it is.
Well, I want to thank you all because I know you all got to get home to your families. My advice to everybody here is don't get serious with anybody until you after 30. Okay, get your careers together, travel, see the world, do some things, you know.
Maybe about 20,
25.
And let's end with a message out to, if you could just say anything to America right now.
Or to young African American people, what would you say?
What would you say?
Black lives matter.
Yeah. Say it again.
The Black Lives Matter.
Stay positive.
Stay positive.
Yeah, let's come together. Let's come together as one.
Come together as one.
Believe in yourself.
Progress.
I tell you.
Progress.
Taylor said love yourself.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Rob.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be calling you all again. Thank you, Stacey. All right.
Where y'all parked it?
That's it right there. That was all right.
All right, you guys. So,
I hope my internet stayed going so the whole thing.
oh yeah, everything's good. We still on right now. Okay. All right. So you guys, you heard from the youth today. We're gonna do more of this because we really do need to hear more from the youth. What's on their mind, where they're at. Let's talk to them. Let's listen. Let's ask them questions and see what's going on because they are our future, absolutely. So we're going to get going. This has been a segment of Conversations from the Block on Evanston Live TV, and I want to thank Stacey Moragne for bringing these fabulous young people who are willing to open and share so much with us today, and Lonnie Wilson for contacting Stacey and
allowing Stacey to do it.
Yes, and Kevin Brown for allowing Stacey Moragne to bring these kids out to talk to us today, and Joshua Hall joining us today with some really great questions, and Bobby Burns, of course. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Meleika.
Great question. Welcome. Yes. Share this, and we're definitely going to do this again because we need to hear more from the youth in Evanston because they will be running this city one day. So we need to know where they're at, where they're going, what's happening. All right, you guys have a great evening. Meleika, Evanston Live TV.